Good evening and welcome to EBN Prime. My name is Gaston Obomba. I'll be taking you through our various international news and local news that we've prepared for you. We begin our gear with President William Ruto on Tuesday addressing the first Korean African Summit, emphasizing the crucial role by the Korean that play in Africa's transformation. The president said Africa is keen to explore strong partnership in Korean investors to turn Africa's immense population into opportunities and investments that will create jobs and foster economic growth. He highlighted that Africa's resources include a robust, skilled youth population, vast agricultural land, large reserves of renowned energy, and numerous mineral resources are yet to be fully utilized. He mentioned that Africa has recognized food security, science and technology, peace and security, and health securities as key areas of cooperation with Korea. The president reiterated Africa's desire to explore a solid partnership with Korea's investors to transform Africa's immense potential into opportunities and investments that will create jobs and promote economic growth across African nations.
Despite these gains, African nations continue to struggle against a rising multitude of complex, interrelated challenges, which not only diminish our capacity to develop in accordance with our potential, they also actively undermine our investment and achievements. They include an escalated debt crisis, low access to development resources in our international financial markets, high costs of this limited financing, heightened vulnerability to fluctuations in global economy, including inflation, supply chain disruptions, which make the prices of essential goods beyond reach of many. Geopolitical crises and negative impacts of climate change have also made significant contribution to this situation. These challenges underscore the urgent need for a more equitable and inclusive global development financial architecture, beginning with the advancement of contributions to the World Bank concessional lending window to enable African countries to effectively respond to economic shocks and pursue development agenda. We are asking at this point Korea, working with other countries, to double its contribution to IDA and working with the International Monetary Fund to consider channeling special drawing rights to the Africa Development Bank so that we can access concessional development financing for African countries. The vision of the Korea-Africa Summit is to bring the inspiring precedent of the miracle of the Han River to bear on Africa's potential to generate shared prosperity for present and future generations. I therefore look forward with great anticipation to engaging in discussions focusing on the following areas: and transferring technology to promote sustainability and resilience, especially in the light of escalating threat of global climate change. Secondly, I'm optimistic that a primary area of focus in our deliberations shall be science and technology. To be effective and sustainable, a repositioned partnership between Korea and Africa must be intentional in harnessing the potential of the...
And back within the borders, Njambi Koikai, also known as Fire Mama, was a renowned Kenyan reggae MC, radio presenter and activist, born in November 24th, 1986 in Nairobi. She has gained fame through her captivating blend of reggae and charismatic personality on the airwaves. Koki journeys in the entertainment industry began at a very young age, quickly becoming a prominent DJ in the Kenyan and beyond. She rose to fame through her radio shows on Metro FM and QFM, where she hosted reggae programs. Koikai died at Nairobi Hospital on Monday at around 9 p.m. She had been admitted to the hospital and appealed for blood. Njambi's life took a challenged turn after she was diagnosed with endometriosis, a rare and painful condition that afflicts millions of women across the world. According to her, 1 in 10 women are battling endometriosis worldwide, and the numbers are staggering. She said that due to the tradition and taboos young girls and women shared, were ashamed to believe that period pains is painful. Here is how Angela Chibalonza tells us more about the story.
Endometriosis is a disease in which tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside the uterus. It can cause severe pain in the pelvis and make it harder to get pregnant. Endometriosis can start at a person's first menstrual period and lasts until menopause, with endometriosis tissue similar to the lining of the uterus growing outside the uterus. This leads to inflammation and scar tissue forming in the pelvic region and rarely elsewhere in the body. There is no cure, but its symptoms can be treated with medicine or, in some cases, surgery. It causes a chronic inflammatory reaction that may result in the formation of scar tissue within the pelvic and other parts of the body. There is no known way to prevent endometriosis. Enhanced awareness followed by early diagnosis and management may slow or halt the natural progression of the disease and reduce the long-term burden of its symptoms, including possibly the risk of central nervous system pain sensitization. Currently, there is no cure. A careful history of menstrual symptoms and chronic pelvic pain provides the basis for suspecting endometriosis, although several screening tools and tests have been proposed and tested. None are currently validated to accurately identify or predict individuals or populations that are most likely to have the disease. Endometriosis can often present symptoms that mimic other conditions and contribute to a diagnostic delay. Ovarian endometrioma, adhesions, and deep nodular forms of diseases often require ultrasonography or magnetic resonance imaging (MRI) to detect. Histologic verification, usually following surgical laparoscopic visualization, can be useful in confirming diagnosis, particularly for the most common superficial lesions. Treatments are based on individual preferences and effectiveness, side effects, long-term safety, cost, and availability. Raising awareness can help people to be diagnosed early. Early treatment can slow or halt the natural progression of the disease and reduce the long-term symptoms. In Kenya, the estimated 200 million women who live with the disease. Dealing with it is a battle they fight daily. Patients who could benefit from medical symptomatic management are not always provided with treatments due to limited awareness of endometriosis among primary healthcare providers. There is nothing normal about painful period or menstruation cramps. Not all pain is endometriosis, but no pain should be felt. In case there is any pain, visit your doctor, get checked, and get treated.
With that, rest in peace, Fire Mama Njambi Koikai. And to my colleague, it's not Angela Chibalonza, but Consolata Chibalonza. I'll be taking care of that in a short while. Moving on swiftly, Ian Njoroge, a 19-year-old, was arraigned in court this morning following his arrest on Sunday in Jacaranda Estate. The young man, captured on camera assaulting a 55-year-old police officer, faces 3 charges: violent robbery, causing grievous harm, and resisting arrest. According to charges aired on EBN television, they are relating to causing obstruction, carrying excess passengers in his vehicle, and disobeying instructions given by the traffic officer. Senior Principal Magistrate Martha Nanzushi released him on a cash bail of 60,000 or a bond of about 100,000. The case will be mentioned on June 18th for pre-trial conference.
Criminal case number 351 of 2016 in the High Court in Milimani, court was very clear that seriousness of the offense per se is not a reason to deny bail. Even if they are to charge him of murder or attempted murder, to make the offense appear serious before unsuspecting court users, it would not have been enough to deny him bail. We therefore pray, Your Honor, that you consider the state, including the prosecution, not to have tendered anything before you, work determination, for the reason that there is no affidavit on record, even a poorly drafted one, to demonstrate that they lacked time to do a proper one, and proceed to have the charge sheet in its present ridiculous form read, and the accused person admitted to reasonable bail terms.
400,000 shillings, one surety of similar amount. The alternative gives a cash bill of 60,000 shillings and 2 contact persons to ensure the attendance of the accused person mentioned on the 18th day of June for pre-trial. You shall be supplied with all the documentation the prosecution intend to rely on.
With that story takes us into the health sector. Clinical workers on Tuesday held a demonstration at the Green Park bus station terminal in Nairobi, demanding better pay and permanent and pensionable terms. The workers say they have been on the contract for the past 4 years and they are paid a quarter of what their counterparts on salary on permanent terms. Demonstration was attended by UHC workers from Nairobi, Kisii, Machakos branches, and the national government was expected to extend the contract by an additional 2 years. And for this reason, the workers marched through the streets of Nairobi to protest against the plan.
Tukiwa hapa kwa Wizara ya Afya leo, hatuko hapa kupigana na mtu. We are here pursuant to Article 37 of the Constitution that gives us the right to picket, to demonstrate and to present petitions to public offices.
Money that they are using to fly outside this country is enough to put these people under a medical cover. So therefore, we are not begging, but we are demanding that we must see leaders who prioritize their citizens. Yes. Not anything to do with business, because there will be no business if you don't invest in social capital.
From medical, we zoom into IT. The government plans to lay at least 100,000 kilometers of network within 2 years as part of strategies to bring internet services closer to the public. The Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Mr. Edward Owalo, also announced that businesses activities across the country would significantly improve due to his ambitious plan for free internet access.
As a student of strategy, strategic planning of any policy development has to be as participatory as possible. And what that implies is that as you do any policy document, the process has to be participatory and all-inclusive. And that is why the Ministry of Planning, in its wisdom, found it imperative to involve all the relevant stakeholders from Siaya County, as in all the other counties, during the planning process, so that the views of the integral stakeholders could go into that process. But again, as you develop any policy document, you need to be aware of the fact that you don't operate in a vacuum. And that is why the economist here for Ministry of Planning has aptly put it, that the MTP4 had to be aligned to other relevant policy documents, because Kenya as a country also does not operate in a vacuum. So we have to align to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, we have to align to the African Union's Agenda 2063, the East Africa Community Vision 2050, and of course locally here to our own bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which now informs the overall policy framework and development agenda for the Kenya Kwanza government.
And in Naivasha, more than 5,000 people have been forced to leave their homes due to rising water levels in Lake Naivasha, which fears that number might increase in the coming few days. The most affected area is Kihito, which borders the lake, with dozens of wells and toilets flooded, raising concerns of disease outbreak in the estate, which is home to dozens of flower farmers. Dozens of wild animals, including buffaloes and hippos, have also been severely affected as the flooded grazing lands near the river have pushed them into nearby farms in the search of pasture. Already one person has drowned in the estate after falling into one of the flooded wells, and residents are calling on the government to provide a sustainable solution for the victims.
Tumeashumu na tumetembea manyumba manyumba imeshindikana. Ukienda nyumba hata haifai T-post. Kila nyumba T-post, tutaenda wapi? Sisi tumfurahia tumekaa hapa, tumekatalia hapa. Manyumba hakuna na wengine hawana pesa. Kila kitu bei kali. Rais wetu tunaumia sana, tuko kwa machi na watoto. Imagine mahali tunakaa choo simejaa, hatuna mbele wala nyuma. Na mkianza kutoa hapa mamili watu wamekufa hapa district itajaa. Hamna mahali pa kuweka.
Umeteseka kwa ajili ya maji. Karibu wiki mbili mwezi moja imepita, maji amejaa kwa nyumba zetu zote. Karibu nusu ya Keoto hatuna imani na maji. Sasa tunaomba serikali tukufu tuonee masirai kama Wakenya wengine, hata sisi tutolewe hapa kwa maji kama saidi zingine wamesaidia. Shida nimepata kubwa, maji iliingia wakati sikuwa hata nimekuwa nimelipa nyumba, ikanipata sina hata hera.
Keoto area today is under distress. We are talking about around 20,000 people being affected by the waters, yet no any redress is being addressed here. So mine is to ask the national government to come in and intervene. The president had given some ultimatum when it came to Mathare area some time ago, and he said that people will be displaced and given some amount to relocate to other areas. These people have not been given anything, and no one is addressing their issues.
Ni contaminated na hii uchafu yote ya choo hapa. 12 mpaka saa 12. Ukiwa nje usiingie pandi ama usitoke. Viboko zina randa hapa na nyati siko kwa wingi sana. Kuna pesa ya disaster management. Gavana Susan Keheka, mkuu na MCA na viongozi wengine, mko wapi? Sijui ni mnataka mpigio simu au ndena mnagani ndio muweze kuwasikia.
Joy Baraka, a third grade student at Bungoma DEB Primary School, continued to receive high praises after demonstrating her skill in leading Scout contingent in front of the president on Heroes Day, with hopes of meeting the president one day.
Akizungumza katika shule hiyo, mwanafunzi Joy anahoji kuwa alihisi hodari kuongoza kikosi hicho, akisema anafurahia kuwa mwanaskauti, jambo liloungwa mkono.
That was a very short brief, and the Council of Governors is raising a red flag over a new scheme to revert health services to the national government through a perceived smear campaign against devolved units. Consequently, the Council of Governors is accusing the national government of withholding their equitable share, which is now exceeds over 100 billion Kenya shillings, just days before the end of 2023-2024 financial year. Currently, counties have not received their due allocation from the national government for 3 months, including June, although the IFMS system reportedly went down in mid-June. Responding to a series of questions from the media following ongoing media campaign about counties failing to remit debits to the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, the chairperson of the Council of Governor Committee and Tharaka Nithi Governor Muthoni Njuki questioned the pressure, stating it is the national government that has failed to provide resources to counties. According to Governor Njuki, the message was about county debts owed to KEMSA seemed to be well thought through and executed plan aimed at putting counties in bad light.
Because I chair the health committee to clarify some issues that have been very alive in the media for the last 3 days. For the last 3 days, we have seen a deliberate attempt by KEMSA, the national government and their proponents, to try and paint the counties as having been unable to meet their debt obligation as far as drug supply are concerned in KEMSA. Allow me to state the following facts. For one, the counties usually pay their debts to KEMSA depending on the age of the debt. And it's also important to note that there is no county that usually buys from KEMSA upfront. It's always a debt, and therefore there's nothing wrong with having a debt. The problem is when the debt accumulates beyond the 90 days. On the issue of the debts that have accumulated beyond the 90 days, allow me to state the following. One, the national government through Treasury owes the 47 counties a total of just above 100 billion up to the end of the financial year, which is just a few days to the end of the financial year. And therefore, most of the counties have paid their salaries. They have met their basic obligations in the counties, including the daily utility bills. The biggest problem is debts owed to suppliers, which have not been met because of the fact that the Treasury owes the counties 3 months worth of disbursement.
And in efforts to end banditry, insecurity and livestock theft in Kerio Valley region, which includes the counties of West Pokot, Turkana, Baringo, Samburu, Laikipia and Elgeyo Marakwet, political leaders and stakeholders from the North Rift region are calling on religious groups to join the government in tackling the security threat. Led by Kerio Senator Aaron Cheriot, who also serves as the Senator Majority Leader, they stated that the use of force by the government to tackle banditry is now outdated and ineffective. Kacheliba MP Titus called for more administrative units in the region, saying this is the only way the government and the church can bring peace to the area. According to Lotier, the region has been left behind in development due to major issues of insecurity.
So mimi nawaambia kanisa, nyinyi mmefanya kazi ya maana sana. Wale vijana wanasimama hapa wakirudi na wazungumzie wenzao ambao bado wako kwa ile maisha ya zamani. Wale watawasikia sababu wanajua wao wamewahi kukua hapo pia. So in fact I want to urge the government that apart from just using force and the might of the gun in trying to resolve the conflict and the challenges of security around this region, to think of better ways of collaborating with the church so that there can be long-lasting peace that will yield lives not only on heaven but also on earth here, so that people can enjoy peace.
The few people that wanaishi hiyo beto wapewa bunduki, sometimes they misuse it. I think as a way of balancing, serikali itoe yote, na rais alisema hivyo, ama ipatie wote so that kila mtu a balance your power. Otherwise, we always feel insecure. The government does not treat us the same.
The Attorney General Justice Muturi has defended the government's tax policies while dismissing misconceptions being spread against the tax hike. Muturi has joined the tax debate, which has stirred diverse emotions ahead of the proposed financial bill expected to be debated in the National Assembly. Muturi has come out to defend the government's tax policies, dismissing misconceptions raised by those opposing the tax hike. He stated that there is a lot of misinformation about tax increase. According to that, increased taxes is part of the nation's revenue collection.
The President's statement that when he talked about raising more taxes, has been misinterpretation. The idea is to raise the level of our taxes as a component of our GDP. It's still too low given the size of our economy in the region. It's still quite low. And it's for that reason that we talk about once you include more and more people, which is heavy in this MTP4, we increase the revenue base. We expand the revenue base. And once that is expanded, as we hope it will, we believe that more and more opportunities will be created.
Amid the ongoing debate about banning Miraa and Muguka, National Assembly Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi has joined the voices pledging to support Kilifi North MP Owen Bayer's motion to amend the law. Recognizing the adverse effects of the continued use of the stimulant on the youth, he called on the government to prioritize the interests of the country and its citizens when formulating such policies.
We support the move by Honorable Owen Bayer to seek to amend the Crops Act with a view to reviewing the legality of Muguka and Mira. And we are saying this knowing fully well that a number of Kenyans, especially from Embu and Meru counties, derive their livelihood from the production and sale of Mira and Muguka. But again, there's a bigger picture. A government that is responsible must look at the objective interest of the country and its citizens when coming up with policy decisions. Do you want to sacrifice the lives of multitudes of young people in coast and northeastern regions to support the livelihoods of a few farmers in Meru and Embu counties? Whereas the farmers of Mira and Muguka have got the right to derive livelihoods. Such right must be tempered with the greater good of the country as a whole. Our thinking and position is that it is not in the interest of this country. It is not in the objective interest of this country to continue to allow for the rampant consumption of Muguka with its obviously adverse effects on the lives of our young people.
Head teachers from secondary schools in Nyeri County have welcomed the MP's decision to reinstate the school feeding program. The program, which had been scrapped off from the budget estimates for the year 2024-2025 financial year, had caused concern among stakeholders. This comes as Kenya's Children's Welfare Organization launches the second phase of its school feeding program in various county schools.
Assignment is going to go a long way in helping us retain our students in school, and also in checking matters to do with the students being at school all the time, and also helping in retention at school, which will go a long way in helping them improve their performance as they will be at school most of the time, for interaction with the teachers and also with their studies.
We do not have students who are dropping out of school because there is no food in school. And even those who do not have sufficient food in their homes, at least we can be able to maintain them and ensure that they keep learning. So we want to register our appreciation to all the stakeholders who are taking part in this feeding program, and may God bless them.
This program, and especially the school feeding program, which is up in arms right now, we've seen that, or at least we've made to understand that it will go very far in ensuring that the students remain in school, in ensuring that they actually concentrate on their studies, in ensuring that they are kept safe and not exposed to any exploiters out there, because of lack of money. The constituency would say the target population for CWSK is approximately 4,414, and the program is being conducted in or being run in 22 schools as of now.
And we wrap this show up with Real Madrid have confirmed that football player Kylian Mbappe will join the club on a free transfer once his contract at PSG expires at the end of this month. Mbappe has been heavily linked with the Spanish giants for nearly 3 seasons, but PSG managed to retain their star striker. However, after winning the Champions League on Saturday, Real Madrid announced that Mbappe will be joining the French champions with this summer. Mbappe leaves PSG having led the club to win Ligue 1 in the Coupe de France titles. Well, thank you for joining us. My name has been Gaston Wabomba, and on behalf of everyone that made this particular transmission a success, and for you watching us from home, Kina Malin, Kina Edith, Kina Paris, we thank you so much for tuning in, and we say a big thank you. Have a lovely night.